We are back. We stopped there at attaching everything, and I'm gonna do a thing called a Boolean now, which someone found in a YouTube video. Thought they were real smart. Thought they're all like, oh, Baz doesn't show us this. He didn't know. I know all about Booleans. They're terrible. Okay, so I'm gonna make a little box here, and I'm gonna do a Boolean to it. And a Boolean is basically like you can cut out a thing. Yeah, of course. Yeah. You can cut out a thing from another thing. So basically, if I have a shape of a cylinder, and this box here, I can cut out a cylinder shape through it, or so, using that cylinder. But I'll show you what you need to watch out for and why it's dangerous and why I didn't show it to you initially. So let me just make a cylinder, just straight up normal cylinder, and I'm gonna rotate it here, and I'll just shove it through here. So basically, when I Boolean this now, it's gonna like cut out that cylinder shape into the box. And it's actually pretty useful, but you'll see the problems that you need to watch out for, which hopefully someone can already see that I'm doing. I'm just gonna make these two different colors so we can see what's going on. Okay, cool. All right, and I can now go to Boolean this. Now to Boolean, you need to go to compound objects, and there is Boolean and Proboolean. I have no idea what the difference is. I always use Proboolean. So select Proboolean on one of them, and we want to do a subtraction. We can do a union, which will shove them both together. We can do an intersection, we can do a merge, but we want to do subtraction in this case. We want to minus the cylinder from the box. So what I need to do is a subtraction of one assumptions, blah, blah, blah. Oh, have I done a big mistake? Ignore everything, we're doing Boolean. Yeah, Boolean. Okay, sorry. The other way around. I like Boolean. I don't know what Proboolean does. So ignore Proboolean. So Boolean's here. We want a subtraction A minus B. A, if you see up here, it is this box, 002. And it just wants to know what B is. We can do subtraction B minus A, and you can do intersection, all that kind of stuff. In this case, A is the box, B it doesn't know. You can see B is blank over here. And there's a button here for pick operand B. Click on that, and I'm going to tell it that cylinder is going to be B. And you see it just nicely cuts it out. But there is a problem. It's made all these segments down here because my original cylinder had segments, which I didn't actually need. But because I kept them there, it has also segmented down here these two line edge loops, which I don't want, because if I convert this editable poly, it means that this guy up here is not a quad. And you can tell that because he's got like, I don't know, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 edges. So it's not a quad. And also those inner segments are doing nothing. Like it'd be different if those inner segments were, say, doing this or something and making that shape. I'd be like, okay, that's fine. You need to have those segments, just quad up the top. But they're not doing anything. Right now it's just a straight tunnel through, so they're useless. So again, I'm just gonna delete them. If you all remember, it's Control Backspace to remove edge loops. You just loop it, Control Backspace, and it's now gone. Cool, and I have this. Another problem is this side is not quadded at all. So I'll need to quad up this whole area. Cool? So Boolean is useful, but it does have a few problems, like so. This thing, push. So a few of you have a thing where you have a cylinder or a box or something, and you've made a really, really skinny one. And then you've like gone on and made the whole rest of the stuff, and then you're like, oh shit, I need to go and make this thicker because I've come around and told you go make it thicker. Now that's fine if it's just a cylinder. I can just scale it, and I can scale it only in the X and Y direction. Done, thicker. That's easy. Now what happens though if I've gone and been smart and made, let me just bend this. Okay, if I've like bent it or something, convert to editable poly, done. Which someone like You do you. You have a nice, normal kind of like dense pipe. So this is a problem, because if I scale X and Y, you'll see that it just does that. And that doesn't work. So what I need to do is a new modifier that you've never seen. It's called push. Push it real good. Okay, where's push? Push. There's push. And what push will do, you can either do it negative or positive, but if you just aim up the value, it just kind of fattens it. Okay? And if you do negative, it just skinnies it. Cool. So it's pretty useful. And you can like make stuff look really chunky very fast and really easy if there's a problem. That is push. We've gone over pivot points. Now the final thing I want to show you, which I actually wanted to show you next week only, but screw it. Some of you are doing stuff already. So let's say I have a sphere. Someone wanted to make a bush. So I'm going to make a low poly bush from a sphere. Okay, cool. Now if I just dump that and I use that as a bush, that's okay, but it's very circular looking and it's like a sphere and it just doesn't look organic. So I can do one of two things. I can, as an editable poly, go in and manually like edit the vertices, kind of give it a bit of randomness. I can even FFD it and stuff, but this takes a while. So there's a quick way, which is basically just add something called the noise modifier, and it's kind of weird. There's a strength for X, Y, and Z, but it won't do anything until I click this fractal button. There we go. And I should be able to. You can just kind of warp shit. Maybe it'd be better if I have more segments to show you. Let me just show you with a few more segments. Fractal, roughness, and then strength. So you can kind of see it's like just warping shit in different directions. Obviously if I go too far, so it just kind of creates a random noise. I'm just going to do it really obvious so you can see what's happening. And there's a seed as well, so if you don't like this, you can like vary through the seeds and it'll basically give you like random variations using the strength. I've put way too much strength in, but just FYI, that's what you can do. Oh god, no. So I can vary through the seeds and get different shapes. Now the cool thing is, once I already have one unwrapped, I can add noise onto all the bushes and noise them with different seeds. That way I get loads of different bushes. They're already unwrapped, so I don't need to unwrap them again, and I just get loads of variation using this simple tool. Works for rocks, works very well for organic stuff. But we'll go over noise again next week because we're going to do something with noise that's useful for us. Cool, that's kind of all I wanted to show right now today. Are there any questions? Or anything specific you guys want to see? Cool, alright, so I'm going to, in terms of learning new stuff,